Thank you for joining me. I really enjoyed the film. So I
Um,
have to ask, before I ask questions about the film, how did you first meet each other and get into this, decide to work together?
I grew up in Malibu, and my best friend Chloe, her mother, who's Olivia Newton-John, married Mikey's uncle, John, and that is how we met. And we both happened to be filmmakers, and we were like, when we met each other, I'm like, I like your videos.
Yeah, we were both like interested in each other's films, before we even met. I've seen her work and she had worked with Chloe in the past and done some of her music videos. And so I was like, whoa, blown away. I can't believe this like female director is like it was so rad. And then she had seen some of my work. So it was like when we met, it was like, whoa, it was just like sparks flew. And then we had met in Brentwood, actually in Los Angeles. And then a week later, she was planning on moving to Mexico, and so she hit me with that news, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go down with you. So we both moved to Mexico together, like right at the beginning.
It was kind of like a honeymoon at the beginning of our relationship because we were in like beautiful Caribbean. And then we were having our honeymoon phase and it was great. And then we were like, we got to go work. Let's go make some movies. Let's go make stuff. So came back to the States.
Yep,
That's quite a nice story. That's a
Yeah.
really nice story. So this film is based on true events. So what research did you do to make this film?
well, yeah, we were wanting to make a story that felt really true. I feel like we see a lot of films and we just weren't connecting with them, and we wanted to like bring something to the teenage audience that felt totally real. And so we wanted to draw from real events, and we found out about this party called Deltopia, and it was like just like the perfect background for our characters that we had already written to go to, and kind of a 24-hour story. We wanted to have like it feel like an experience. So it felt when we were making it, we just wanted to keep coming from that place of like realness. And so yeah, drawing from a actual event, Deltopia was key.
Yeah. And we saw like crazy videos from it on like World Star Hip Hop and stuff like that. And we're like, oh my God, this is literally like it's like a war between kids and adults, and it's like the most epic metaphor for just that age and the teen angst and like wanting to get away from like the authority and all that. So when we found that, we were like, this our characters have to go there. And it's always been a character driven story, but we were like, that's the perfect backdrop.
Mm. So you both wrote and directed this film. So how did you find the process? Did you like both write certain scenes or together, or how did it work?
I think we both like we would take turns doing drafts. So we both had a hand in all the scenes and everything really. But we would take turns at first going through drafts, and then we would do it together and just kind of like perfect it. But I think it was really important to have the female male perspective. And I think that speaks kind of loudly in the film. You really get an even sense of that.
Yeah, we kind of come from the music video background. So we were like, we were wanting to transition into narrative filmmaking. And so we just started collecting this imagery of like young teen love, and like we started making more music videos that were about like just like high school kids, and we felt really drawn to that subject matter. And so when we started writing the script, it was almost like a music video treatment, and we just started drawing from different images, and then it just started becoming these kids partying, and then we found out about Deltopia, and it was like, wow, now they can party. It turns into this riot. It's based on true events. And so yeah, it just kind of all unfolded into one. And then we kind of went from music videos, and then we made short films, and then we were like, okay, let's do this. Let's go into this long form, go big.
I did actually notice like the scene changes and stuff had like a music video kind of vibe. Did you intend that from the start?
Yeah, we definitely wanted to bring some of our music video style into our first feature film. And I think that it calls for it in this kind of genre and film. It's nice to like get really zoned in. I feel like you get lost in it sometimes, like in a good lost, you get really zoned in and hypnotized when you're in those scenes, hopefully. So I think it was a fun opportunity to make it this crazy partying and stuff look cinematic and beautiful.
Yeah, it did look really nice. So the other thing I was going to ask was, did the script change at all from the filming to the first draft of the script?
Oh yeah, I mean the first draft was just kind of like an outline, and we were just like ready to go with it, but we just kept going back to the characters, who these people are, like what would they really do in these scenes, and we would go back and we would recite it back to each other, and we do a lot of reading out loud, and so it's like, whoa, that didn't sound like that felt right, or we were just pulling from different energy. Also that we just surrounded, she has some younger sisters, and we just hear a lot of their like real dialogue, so we wanted to incorporate some of that like real raw like teen angst and teen humor and that kind of stuff. And so yeah, just yeah, we went probably through like 4 or 5 drafts before we got to the end, and I think every writer should do that, just kind of like look at it and maybe come at it from a page 1 rewrite every once in a while, just get it down to what you really want. And then when you go to film, there's not like stuff that you're like cutting out and everything. We really kept everything on the script from the final draft to when we were shooting.
Yeah, we cut 2 scenes from the edit. That was the final writing, but no, yeah, everything in the script. I think that, like you said, the most changes from first draft to filming were in the characters. We just kept making the characters richer. And once you go through a first draft and you start knowing who the characters are more, then you, like you said, you go back and you're like, oh, Bones wouldn't say that. That's more, Bones wouldn't do that. That's like Jack would do that, And so you figure out who the people are as you go, and then you really hone in.
Yeah. Do you think we'll be able to see any of the deleted scenes in the future?
I hope so. I think so.
Maybe.
Why not? Hopefully, as long as we're allowed to. I think we will try and figure out a way to get those out, because they are really good scenes and we wanted to keep them, but of course you have to, make sure it's not too long. So
yeah, you want to keep the important parts, and we really fought for some of the scenes too as well. Like there's certain scenes where people are like, maybe cut it out, it's too gnarly, and we're just like, you gotta fight for it. I think you're not gonna be able to do that down the line. Maybe you start making studio films, and those little things get taken out, so you definitely gotta fight for your first one.
Totally.
It's good that you had lots of like creative decisions put in. And I was also wondering, what was the casting process like?
The casting process took a while. Our first character we cast was Bones, Hart Denton, and he was like a no-brainer. He was perfect. He was Bones. So he was the first one we had on.
Yeah, he had the imagery, and also when we met him for the first time, it was like 10 in the morning, and we're like having old fashions and and having drinks, and it felt really, really comfortable like right away with him, and it was just like, all right, you're the dude.
Totally. And then the next person we brought on was Luna, and we met with her, and we're like, oh my God, before she read or anything, we were like, she is it, please, I hope she has a good tape. And then she did the tape and just blew us away. So it was just,
and she just had
amazing.
like the skate culture, Southern California vibe, like grown up kind of like in LA, immersed in Hollywood and acting from a young age. Like it was just like,
dad made some skate movies or something too.
Yeah,
so she was really in that world.
Yeah, her parents, I think they were involved in the entertainment industry as well. So it was like, yeah, it felt straight away. And she had an Olivia Newton-John connection as well.
Yeah, so we had so many, but yeah, all our cast is amazing. And then Madison and Charlie, and then all our our supporting roles too. Will Peltz, Greg Rammer, Swayze, Thomas Cass, Kai Castor, Cameron Fuller. But yeah, it was just so much fun to cast, and we took our time because we wanted the right people. And I think that was the most important thing, to make sure we had a cast that had really good chemistry and that felt real.
Yeah, it was an ensemble, so yeah, huge thank you to Farrah West for helping us wrap it all together.
The cast are really talented. So there's lots of creative filming choices and a few one-shot takes. So was the process and inspiration behind the stylistic choices like?
Well, yeah, we're big with cinematography, and we work with our DP, Sean, who just came up with a bunch of brilliant ideas. We wanted to work with LEDs and just have like the lights kind of affect the mood of the scene almost. And so when you see like darker moments, we kind of intentionally put certain colors to match those moments, because I think color and lighting kind of help, you know, draw emotions when you're watching it.
Yeah.
And we really like we didn't do too much like storyboard. Like we didn't really storyboard, because I think it's important to get on the set and just really feel what's, you know, the energy in the room, and then you decide where the camera goes. And then also at the same time you're like, okay, let's, you know, with the magic of LED and incredible DP, you're able to just, you know, bring lights to a certain moment, you know, through an iPad. And it's just amazing what you can do now with technology. And
yeah, and I talked with Sean before, our DP, about how we wanted it really intimate and we wanted to do a lot of close-ups. And then we also decided on like the anamorphic Koa lenses, which were vintage. So they had no other set of lenses looks exactly like this lens set. So we wanted something that was really like ours and Deltopia. So I think that like shooting on anamorphic with those beautiful vintage lenses, and then really the movie is about the characters. So staying intimate and close with them most of the time, we really wanted to do.
I was gonna say trusting the actors, and like you said, those long one takes or whenever you see stuff like that, that's just really giving the actor a little bit more flexibility to express themselves in their character. And as a camera, I just want to, you know, feel drawn to those moments. So sometimes, you know, we may go from a wide to a close up, like right in that moment.
Yeah, as an audience, I found it more engaging and stuff like that for all the different unique styles. So what was the hardest or most challenging scene to film?
For me, I'd say the riot scene,
Oh, yeah, of course.
and all the nighttime stunts, and having all the background kind of running around at like 3 or 4 in the morning. We had one night to kind of pull it all together, and it was the last night of our shooting, and we were kind of worn out from filming. We had a pretty short schedule. We shot 15 days. I think it was our
16 days. But
so
to
this
make
was our
that
16th
clear,
day.
we shot every nighttime in that riot neighborhood, all those nighttime in that riot neighborhood, like Jack and Bones, Jack and Hannah meeting up, the riots,
dumpsters, and
we
fighting.
shot that all in one night, and that is unheard of. I remember Hart was like looking at the schedule for that night, and he looked at me and he just laughed, and I'm like, what? And he's like, I don't know how you guys are gonna do this.
I mean,
we're like, we have to, well, you know, so we made it work, but that was crazy. That was like warrior filmmaking. I don't know, like craziness.
We had stunt teams show up that day, and then people show up in white riot gear, and it was just like we had like a certain time frame to do everything. And I knew, yeah, we had pyro stunts, and like anything could have gone wrong, but fortunately, like, you know, no one died, so we
No one got hurt.
feel like it was a success.
And then we were shooting all that in one night, and then the last scene we shot up the entire movie, and that night was Jack and Hannah in front of the fire. I'm not going to say what they were doing, because for the people that haven't seen it, but that was the last scene, and we actually shot that at 7 in the morning, and we're trying to hide the sunlight, and we were like vampires trying to get our last shots before we lit up in flames.
How did it feel once you did that day and night?
Oh, it was
that was done. We were wrapped, so it was like we were all just like, we were first of all delirious because we were up all night, you know, but it was just such a good feeling. That's, I think, like my favorite feeling is at the end when we've got everything and we're about to go into post, and we just know all the amazing footage we shot. That's I think the best part.
Yeah, and that same night we went to the Roxy and had a big wrap party. It was great, and I got to see a lot.
Slept a couple hours.
And I will say Charlie, when he rapped, I think he went on to like work out and hang out on the beach, and
He didn't
he
sleep.
didn't sleep. He just kept going. And I was just like, he was posting videos of doing push-ups and working out. I'm like, dude, how are you still awake?
You
So
must have drank lots of Red Bulls or something, energy drinks.
Yeah, lots
yeah,
of energy drinks.
yeah, he was committed, man.
And did you allow the cast to do much improvisation?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
I mean there's even one scene that was totally improvised,
Yeah.
you know, with Bones and Jack in the boneyard. When we see all the classic cars everywhere, we were just kind of throwing things at them, and that kind of scene just, you know, it felt really good to improvise an entire scene. So we had talked about it with the cast before that we may want to go and do some improvisation, and everybody was totally for it. So whenever we had little opportunities, we'd kind of say this or do this, you know, and just kind of throw them off.
Yeah, we would get the script, we would get what's on the script in the can, and then we'd be like, now do what you now give us something else, you know? And so we always had that. And we definitely kept, I think, some of the improvisation in the film. And like you said, that scene in the junkyard when the boys are on top of the car and all that, that we just it happened to be at our other location for where we were shooting Slim and the skate pole. So we were like, Mikey's like, we have to shoot them right now here. We're gonna do it. Like the producers were like, we don't have time. This is crazy. And we're like, we're gonna do it. Grab the steady cam.
It was
Shot them.
during lunch. I think
Yeah.
we all skipped lunch to do that scene.
Yeah, and we had to fight for it to keep that one in the final
Mm.
cut because people were like, "This doesn't." But then at the end, they were like, when they saw it, they were like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah, it was good that was kept in my opinion. And I was
Good.
also wondering, did you how did you come up with the outfits for the cast and characters?
Well, we had a really specific look that we wanted, and obviously it was like everything is meant to be 2014, but they're also supposed to be like Southern California kind of beach grunge fashionable. So a lot of the things, we had an amazing wardrobe stylist, and then we also took a lot of inspiration from my little sisters. Like you said earlier, they were little muses in some of the writing, and then in some of the fashion choices and stuff like that. So
And I was gonna say it was based on 2014, so we were kind of pulling from some of those fashions as well as some updated stuff, but a lot of like kind of 2014 weirdness.
but very hip 2014, like
Like
the cool people.
Yeah. And the film had lots of deep moments in it. So I was wondering, how important was it for you to include those scenes and show different sides to characters?
That was everything. That's the heart of the movie. That's what are the characters and what they go through. This film has always been a character driven coming of age film to us, and that's what it is. A lot of people will see the trailer and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, it's a party movie, it's a party movie, which is like, yes, they go to a party, but it is about those intimate moments that you see. And I think that was really important, because I think that when you're a teenager and when you're at that age where you're transitioning into adulthood from adolescence, it's actually, there's some really deep and dark, light, crazy moments that you go through. And we really wanted to show that. We wanted to show what people go through at that age, and hopefully make people, teenagers and other people going through that, feel less alone and really have something to connect to.
Yeah, I also felt that as well when watching. So music plays an important part in this film. How did you go about finding the music you wanted?
Ben Zecker came to
Amazing.
us. Yeah, we were looking for a composer, and he had written like basically the intro of our movie. We were like, you know, looking up like, you know, trying to find like Hans Zimmer's phone number and stuff, you know, like we wanted to go like really big. And then we get this email with Ben and we played it in our car and we were like, holy crap, we were shaking. We were like blown away. We were like, this is the sound of our movie. I edited that film. And so I made like a sample score that went across the whole thing. And he would just take my samples and just make them 100 times better. And when we came to his studio, he's like, I want to go with these kind of like analog sounds from like the 1970s. And we were like, this is perfect because we're shooting on like anamorphic 1970s lenses, and we just wanted to have like this timeless feel. And so he was pulling out these things called Moogs, and we were just sampling stuff. I felt like it was like a Beatles, you know, Abbey Road style recording from back in the 70s, really. And it was
Sorry.
super important.
Don't
We got
worry.
the charger, the computer's about to die.
Don't worry.
So we're back in action. But yeah, what he was able to bring to the table just blew us away. And then we would find moments where we're like, there needs to be a gnarly soundtrack here, and he'd be like, guys, you got to go out and find the music. And so that's when we went on the search for like filling those gaps of score and music. And we found our music supervisor, Crystal, who really kind of helped us out through that and introduced us to a number of independent bands and artists that we had never heard of, that we were like, wow, that really fits what we're looking for, that like college atmosphere.
And then luckily we have a lot of friends that are incredible musicians as well. And so a lot of the songs we were able to, because we're obviously on an independent budget, so it was hard to get songs for what we had. So luckily we had some friends and we could call them and be like, hey, there's not much money in this, but we're making a really cool film. So can we get your song? And they helped us out. So people like Little Aaron and Brandon Jenner, Brody Jenner, Oz, Adam O'Rourke, Ships Have Sailed. There's countless.
Styles
So we had a lot of
Complete.
friends that, Styles SNC, just that gave us helped us out, and they saw how cool the film was, and we're excited to be a part of it.
The soundtrack was very good. So speaking of music, when you were filming the party scenes, did you add the music in post-production, or did the cast have music to dance to?
We would play music before we rolled, but we had to record audio. So unless maybe
No,
in that one scene we did.
Yeah, there was a couple kind of hypnotic moments when they walk into the Welcome to Wonderland house, where we probably did have some music playing during that time. I remember seeing some behind the scenes, and it was getting pretty rowdy.
Yeah, but other than those crazy dance party scenes, then we would play music before and then record. Except for in the Jack and Hannah lighthouse scene, we that was to Mazzy Star, Fade Into You. Tried to get that song, but that was it was a little too hard to get. But that's what we were listening to when we filmed that.
But it gave us like the tempo and the vibe of what we were looking for. And also, yeah, when we were filming, we tried to do something, play the music before and just like get a vibe. Sometimes we do that even in like dramatic scenes. We'd play something like kind of like dark and, looming, or something from another soundtrack, and just get people kind of emotionally ready for the scene.
I guess that helps the actors as well, having something to go off.
Totally.
Yeah, it definitely did. I don't know if other directors have done that before, but coming from the music video world, we've done it before, and it just, I don't know, it gives an extra element, I think.
It really helps the actors, and it helps us, and it helps the DP. I think it helps everyone. We all get in the mood. And then we're emotionally audio prepared for the vibe.
Yeah. And how did you find the filming locations? And was anything a set, or was it all real locations?
There was one street was a set, the Riot Street. That was a set at a lot in Pomona. And we knew we had to shoot on a set because it would be too expensive to film in a neighborhood.
We tried, like, we went location scouting and we'd find the perfect house, but then like the neighbors like, you want to do this at
At
2 in the
night?
morning
No.
and light stuff on fire and cause a riot? No, I don't think so. So it was hard to get that kind of approval in the neighborhoods. But yeah, that studio was like
Yeah, I
our
think
blessing because it was like indie version of like like going to the Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah.
So like we were very fortunate that location came.
I think it was built for that show Them on Amazon.
Shout out to
So
Jeff,
thank you.
Jeff
Thank you for
Bezos.
building our sets.
You
And then we got to just come in and be like, oh yes, perfect, great, we'll take it. And obviously, I mean, like ideally, if we had all the money in the world, we would have shot in Isla Vista and Deltopia, but I don't know if they don't even allow that. So
yeah, that was our first. We were like, we have to film an IV. And then after the riots of 2014, they said you can never film on any kind of
you can't
riot or party
congregate.
scene.
Yeah.
So we had talked to their commission and they were like, no way. And a lot of people are like, oh, they didn't shoot it in our town. But it's like, there's no way. Yeah.
We would like to.
Yeah. I think they would have loved to be a part of it.
Yeah, but we had to settle for LA and Malibu. Also, our friend Cisco Adler had this awesome house in Malibu overlooking the ocean. That's his house. It was his like, it's called the Cocoon. It was his artist house. So that was perfect and it worked out perfect. So yeah, thankful to Cisco Adler for that.
Mhm.
And throughout Deltopia, there's a lot of drugs and alcohol. So I was wondering, what did you give the actors? Like, was it prop or water or what?
Yeah, it was all water and props. And our production designer, he had, I think they were snorting B12 or something when they did the
Yeah,
what was it?
he always had like some kind of fake drugs on set. So like there was like at one point in Slim, if you look at Slim's like little table bongs and crack pipes and like needles, and so he kind of went over the top for Slim, but no one was doing any real drugs. And when they were smoking weed, they were all like kind of grossed out after it because it was kind of like some kind of spice or like
Catnip or something.
yeah, some weird smelling stuff too. So
yeah, and then they had some, I don't know what he had. He always had something that was safe. And he would tell the actors, don't worry about it, totally fine. You can snort it. So
if it was B12, they're just getting
maybe not B12, some sort of B vitamin. I remember it was a B vitamin. So they were just getting healthy. They were taking their supplements.
And can you share some funny moments on set or your favorite blooper?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. And I'm like blanking out now. What was so funny?
I had a really good time when we filmed the skateboarding scene, and we shot at the Pink Motel, and we had 4 locations. I think you mentioned this earlier, 4 locations to film that day in one little area. And so we would go from like filming the drug dealer scene, and then we would go film the skateboarding scene. And so in meeting all these like professional skateboarders, and then we'd go and then we like, okay, now we got to set up for this, do a junkyard scene. And then we get okay, now we're shooting the last scene in the movie. And it's like, oh crap, like, oh my God, I totally forgot like that this happens at the end of the movie. And it's like, it was just like throughout the day, it was so much fun. And we had all our cast there. That was a day where all our cast were there. And
oh yeah, and Swayze was there, and
Swayze was there
to Corona and Lime in the car. And
yeah, they just had such a good time. It really felt like a family and atmosphere. At the end of the day, we were like just like cracking jokes and stuff.
Yeah, and the set, it was so cool. Like also like Charlie and Hart are both musicians. So like when they would be on Taking 5 or whatever, and then we need to go find them, they'd be like in another room, like serenading the other actors. And I'd like find Charlie serenading serenading Luna. And then like the other room, like Hart and Greer and Madison are hanging out, and Hart's like playing some crazy punk music. So it was a fun set. Everyone was having fun.
Can you share your relationship with the cast, and do you still keep in touch now?
Yeah, totally. We totally keep in touch. I love them all. You really form a really good relationship on set, or a strong relationship, because you're with each other every day. And I just think they're so talented, and we were so blessed. And I think we had a really fun time. And we really got to know them while we were filming, and we tried to spend as much time like meeting with people and Zooming with them before the film to get a sense. And then since then, we've all just been really excited for the film to come out and getting excited about all that. And I know they're all so excited. And of course, the strike is going on. So that is what it is right now. But they all can't wait to talk about it once they're allowed to.
Yeah, I've heard.
It feels like lifelong relationships with these kids. Like we felt like we all like went back to high school when we were making it, and then like at the end of filming at this real high school one day, we were like, we want to get this graduation scene in, and just for fun, and everybody was up for it. We were like, okay, let's stay an extra hour and shoot this for the credits, you know, and everybody was just like super down to like do whatever. Like Hart was down to like fall on his skateboard like multiple times, you know, for takes. And yeah, we had a really good time on off camera. So
And can you share what you did in between takes with the cast and crew and everyone? Any fun memories between takes?
Oh, there's so many. I feel like we had a lot of fun. Charlie's a jokester. He's really fun. And there was, when we were filming crazy close-ups in Charlie's eyes. I mean, it is very small bits that made it in, but it's in the intro when you like zooms into the eye and stuff. And I just remember him joking and like making just funny, hilarious things, and he had everyone laughing, and we're trying to keep a straight face and keep filming, but he was a real jokester.
And you recently had a premiere for Deltopia. So what was your experience and what were the reactions like?
That was great. I mean, obviously we were missing a large portion of our cast. So that was bittersweet. I mean, that was who we were most excited to sit in a theater with and watch it. A couple people were able to see it, but yeah, that we were very excited for that. So that was the bitter part. And then the sweet part was the amazing reaction we got to the film. It was just like better than we could have ever asked for. And I think it was the first time that I watched it. I had been saying, I just want to watch it and just watch it like a movie and not overanalyze it and not just think about filming it and everything. Like, I hope I could get to that place. And then at the premiere, lo and behold, I guess I was at that place and I actually got to watch it and fully enjoy it and not be thinking about every little thing.
And it was a dream come true, literally having our film play in the theater. Todd Laborowski set it all up for us. We were like, we got to have this color carpet to match the backdrop and stuff. It's got to be like fully legit. And he set it up. He's like, you name the theater, wherever you guys want it. And it was like, we did it right in the heart of Westwood, you know, right beside Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
And
Barbie, Oppenheimer, Deltopia.
Yeah, it was rocking to see it there in the theater that I used to go, you know, watch movies all the time because we used to live in Brentwood, and so this is next door. This is where we watched movies, and so I'm like, they updated it to the Dolby Digital sound and everything. It was just so epic hearing the music and hearing like 808s hit the speakers and stuff, and people were like, yeah, were emotionally rocked. I think
just seeing the cinematography and hearing the music in the theater. I mean, that's the way you want to watch your movie, and that's the way you want everyone to watch your movie.
Everyone, get your movie up.
Everyone that's watching it, please watch it really loud on a good sound system on a big screen, please.
Yeah, it would make a big difference watching it on a big screen. So I definitely recommend going.
Yeah.
And also, do you plan on making a sequel to it?
Possibly.
Maybe.
I don't know yet.
It was
a secret if that is.
Yeah, it was such a big orchestration, you know, with this first one. It's like asking to make Jurassic Park 2, you know, right out a year later, you know. So we'll see what happens here in the future, but definitely love our coming of age teen 24-hour dramas for sure.
Yeah.
And in this film, there are a lot of party scenes. In the UK, we don't have like big parties like this. So I was wondering, how close do you think the film is to real life parties in America, like frat parties?
I think it's pretty close. I mean, I used to go and party in Isla Vista.
So.
And then you partied in Myrtle Beach, and I think it's pretty American and pretty accurate to things that can happen at a party and situations you can get in, and whether good or bad. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think when you're young and then you go to like a college party, definitely you're going to be influenced by older people who've been drinking or doing drugs for the last, 10 years. And so when you're there, you're experiencing those first. So this is kind of like a warning, you know what I mean? To keep kids off drugs,
What personal experiences have you had at parties that helped you with the film?
Growing up in Malibu, there was like a lot of younger girls are hanging out with older guys and stuff like that too. So that is some experiences. Just feeling out of control, like when Hannah gets into a situation that's actually not very good, and then has that moment after she speaks with Ellery and she goes in the bathroom and has that moment. I think that was like, I think a lot of girls have had that moment of just breaking down, and so much can happen in one night. And that was kind of what we were thinking the whole time. It's like when you're that age, your whole life can change in one night. Like one experience, one thing can really change the trajectory of your life, or just so that's what we wanted to show. So what else did
Yeah, and with Luna's character, Hannah, her kind of objective was just kind of like breaking out of her shell. Like she kind of has like this anxiety and doesn't really want to, I don't know, step outside of her comfort zone, where you just don't know what you're doing, and
you're stuck with being comfortable. You kind of are like, oh, okay with being comfortable, because the unknown is more scary. We've all had a bones friend. I think everyone in high school had a bones that they knew, and he was gnarly and crazy and could be very mean, but he also has like a tumultuous past. And there's these four people that have different lives and different things you can go through. Like Ellery had the fear of abandonment from Hannah, because it's, at that age, your best friends are your family. Like my best friends were my family, they were like my soulmates, they were my sisters. So it's like when you're growing up and feeling like you could lose them, it's scary.
I could also relate to the fear of change and stuff like that as well. So I think you did a good job at portraying that in the film.
Awesome.
And so did either of you have a crazy party experience you can share, or not really?
He probably had more party. I partied, but I actually had never done drugs. So, which is kind of funny, because I'm sure people think I've like done Molly and cocaine and everything from the movie. But I partied, but I was usually like a sober partier, or maybe dabbled in a little bit of alcohol.
Similar to the movie, I've definitely been there, where like a knife has been pulled out in a middle of a fight, and you gotta like try to disarm this crazy man, and this crazy man may be your best friend.
Yeah, there's definitely been some situations where like you for me, I don't know, when you regret something the next day, you drank too much, you did something stupid. And sometimes it's like a really eerie line of like what's appropriate and what's not, kind of like what the girls go through, with guys and drinking and taking advantage of girls or whatnot. But there's these situations that you get into, and the next day sometimes it's just fun parties and you get crazy and wake up hungover the next day. And hopefully that's usually what people go through, and not one of them heavier.
And can you share any upcoming projects you are working on?
We can't share the names or anything like that, but we have more in the works for sure. So there is more to come from us.
If you like Deltopia, you're gonna like anything else we make, because we're just gonna put everything into it like we always do.
But there's some cool stuff coming from us, and you'll be the first to know, Daniel. We'll definitely let you know when we can.
I'm looking forward to seeing them. And my final question before we go is, if you could throw your own dream party with no rules, what outfit would you wear? What would the party be, and what would you do?
Mine would be on an island. I'd be wearing a bikini, and we'd be in beautiful tropical weather, drinking tropical drinks, with an awesome like live band. Mainly like who? I don't know. I could do a little Bob Marley, Back from the Dead, a little Zeppelin, a little Green Day. Bring back some 90s and 2000s music. That sounds like a dream to me. Beach, bikini, music.
Sounds quite calming in a way.
I'm gonna be on a yacht at Cannes in a pink suit, maybe, just like celebrating the release of our next film, maybe. And
that sounds good. I'll go there. I'll go to that one with you.
And the world is there enjoying it.
That's a good party.
Well,
how about you? What's your ultimate party?
Oh, maybe just lots of people who don't really know, just music, maybe a film on a big projector.
Yes.
Sure.
That's
Drink some food.
Hopefully we all party together soon.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah. You have to come to England, or I'll have to come to America one day.
I'll happily come to England.
Yeah, we need to travel there.
I love it.
Well, thank you very much for doing this interview. I really enjoyed the film, and I'm excited to see your future projects. I appreciate you doing it all with me and chatting with me. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Daniel.
thank you, Daniel.
So great chatting with you.
What does it feel to have everything planned out?
Because I feel like I'm in control.
Sometimes I wish I could just turn my brain off.
Your lucky day. Your dream girl's single. You want to relax? She hasn't been single for more than 10 minutes. So what are you guys doing tonight?
Deltopia. It's the biggest college party in the country.
You should come.
All right, where are we headed? Deltopia.
I'm not asking Jack for drugs.
You like him.
I don't, really. He's just a friend.
Hello?
You know anyone that could get us Molly?
Yeah, we know somebody. You want to pop a Molly?
Yeah.
Want to get lit?
Yeah.
You have just finished high school and have the world at your fingertips. What are you guys gonna do without each other?
We ride together, we die together, Jack.
You guys are chill, right? Not gonna have to call you mommy.
Please. Because one thing I learned from my mom, it's how to mix my drugs and alcohol.
We're reporting live in Santa Barbara.
You think we'll go? Hell no!
Hundreds of college kids have turned violent, leaving chaos in the streets of Isla Vista.
What happened to you?
Started a riot. It's just a regular Friday.